What's up guys, it's Logan here from the Motorcycle Forge, and today we're going to talk about how to make your motorcycle faster. Now when I talk about faster, there are three main areas that we're going to focus on when we're talking about making your motorcycle fast. Number one is horsepower and what we're going to do to get more horsepower out of your motorcycle. And number two is weight, and that is how heavy your bike is and what we can do to get that thing on a diet. And number three is aerodynamics and what we can do to make your bike more slippery through the air. Now let me know in the comments below which bike you're trying to make go faster. Right, now 5 things that affect horsepower are our intake system, our camshaft, our cylinder head, the piston and what's below the piston, and the exhaust system. Now the first thing we're going to talk about is the carburetor. Now what you can do is you can slap a bigger carb on your bike and that'll give you more top end, but it is going to cost you bottom end and possibly some mid-range as well. Now one thing we can do to make this carburetor more efficient is fit a bell mouth or what is called a trumpet. So pretty much that smooths out the transition, allowing more air to go into your carburetor, which means more power. Next up is probably the most common motorcycle mod, and that is to fit a performance exhaust system. And pretty much this is a tuned length, so it's the right length and the right diameter to get the maximum velocity out of the exhaust gases, help promote scavenge and increase your horsepower. Next up is the camshaft. This is the thing that you replace when you want your bike to go ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. Well, not quite like that, but yeah, you want to fit a hog ass cam. That means your valves are open longer and more exhaust gases can escape, more intake charge can enter, more boom, more horsepower. Now onto the cylinder head. This thing's the brains of the operation. So the two things that influence the horsepower and the head itself are your ports and your valves. So generally bigger valves, more valve area, that'll increase your horsepower, especially in the higher RPMs. And then there's your ports, and so you want your ports to be nice and open and free flowing, not too big that you lose velocity. And you also want to clean up imperfections, another one in there. And so cleaning them up, smoothing them all out, that'll increase your horsepower as well and make your bike faster. I'm not sure if I should censor this because it's borderline pornographic. Now fitting a piston like this to your bike means you're going to have high compression, and high compression means you're squishing the air and fuel tighter together and you're getting more bang for your buck. So it's burning more of that fuel, but there is a trade-off: mechanical efficiency and more stress. So you gain thermal efficiency with high compression, but you lose mechanical efficiency, which means there'll be a bit more wear and it will put your parts under more stress as well. Now fitting a big bore kit to your bike, the super easy way to get more horsepower because there's no replacement for displacement. Quick note to do with horsepower: the more you modify your engine, the more horsepower it produces, the shorter it is going to last. Now on one end of the spectrum, you've got a 10,000 horsepower top fuel dragster, which they'll do one run down the track, then they need a full rebuild. And on the other hand, you have a GN125, which will outlive you and your grandkids. So that's going to be up to you to find a happy medium. Now, if you're going to take one thing away from this video, it should be that you want all your components working together. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen it on other people's motorcycles where they've fitted a big cam, fitted an exhaust, big carb, and they haven't actually tuned them all individually to make them all work together as one. So a big word of advice when you're fitting these components to your bike to make it go faster, do one at a time, get that dialed in, then fit the next one, get it dialed in. Because if you just fit them all at once, then and there's a problem, you're not going to know which one it is. Now, before we move on to talk about weight, I'm going to quickly touch on the topic of weight of your engine components and your internals. So if you make this piston and this camshaft lighter, that means you're using less energy to move them up and down and spin them round and round. And that means that it'll be more horsepower to the ground, and that means your bike will go faster. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is weight. And weight is actually a big deal. So pretty much your bike will accelerate faster and stop faster if it weighs less. And roughly, if you remove 8 kg of weight from your motorcycle, it'll equate to 1 more horsepower. So, for example, I'll show you this. This over here, this is my commuter, this is my road bike, it's an FXR 150. Now they're about 118 kg. Now compared to this thing's probably about 80 kg. So we've got 120 kg, 80 kg, 40 kg difference. Now if you divide that by 8, that's like 5 horsepower yeah, if you want your horsepower to seem like it's even more horsepower than it actually is, make your bike a lot lighter. Now, obviously not everyone can just go get one of those chassis. So what you can do is you can replace components on your motorcycle that are made of steel, like a lot of bikes have steel handlebars, replace them with aluminium ones, same with your rear sets and your shifters. And you know, slowly remove things that don't need to be there or can be made smaller. For example, like this is a reservoir for my brake fluid. This holds bugger all, but that's enough. Like, I don't use the rear brake much, and it means that your bike is just lighter and it can go faster. Now, I'm sure some of you need to hear this. Put down and step away from the box of donuts. Another thing to note about weight. Now, wheels, for example, are a really good example of rotating mass because they spin, and removing weight off the wheels is 3 times more efficient than removing weight off the chassis of your bike. So if you make this wheel 1 kg lighter, that is equivalent to making your motorcycle 3 kg lighter because it's not having to spin all that weight. So yeah, lighter wheels are a big advantage. Same with your chain and your sprockets and anything that spins. Now, a famous guy, I think his name was Carroll Shelby, you may have heard of him, said there's no such thing as too much horsepower, just not enough traction. So pretty much same goes for motorbikes. Now, if you've got a bigger bike and you're actually spinning up the rear wheel when you're trying to put your horsepower to the ground, maybe you need some stickier tires like these. These are slicks. Obviously they're not that good for the road. I wouldn't recommend it. Possibly a wider rim or something. Maybe even your suspension is dialed in to keep that tire on the ground and make your bike go faster. Now, last but not least is aerodynamics. And pretty much, so I'm going to use my race bike as an example. So the fairing on my race bike goes up like that, and then it would create a bubble roughly this size based on the shape and the height. So you want to be in that bubble to be hidden from the wind. So the wind's not going over your body, and then there's less friction and you go through the air faster, if that makes any sense. So pretty much, yeah, if you're sitting upright, you're gonna be less aerodynamic. And it's the same with anything else on your bike, things that stick out. If I had some big mirrors that come out here, that's not very aerodynamic. You could fit nice hidden away mirrors that still work so you can see behind you if it's a road bike. But yeah, that's pretty much the aerodynamics is pretty straightforward really. It's just how small you can make yourself. Now, if this video was right up your alley, smash that like and subscribe, and that'll let me know you want to see more videos like this. Now, this has been Logan from the Motorcycle Forge. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.